I actually always wanted to learn Japanese, but you guys have like 3 alphabets, right?
Yes.
So I just as soon as I heard that, I'm like, "You know what? Maybe not." And I heard one of them is like very, very hard to learn.
Yes, that must be kanji.
Yeah, kanji. Yeah, I've
Yes.
heard that one is very hard. So I'm like, "Oh."
Kanji is very complicated.
Mhm. And in order to speak Japanese, do you have to know all 3 alphabets?
When it comes to speaking, you don't have to remember all these 3 letters. But when you read Japanese, you have to learn all of them.
Wow. That's so hard.
Yeah, I think so too. That must be hard.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure Japanese is one of the hardest languages to learn. I think it was
Yeah.
Chinese, Japanese, and Arabic were like
Mhm.
the top 3 hardest, and then Russian was 4th, but it was between Russian and Japanese. I really wanted to learn Japanese, but I didn't think I'd be able to.
I feel like English is not, I don't think English is one of the difficult languages. Maybe because grammar is very simple,
Mhm.
but pronunciation is very difficult for me, and I
Mm.
think for most English learners as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so. Like I was actually talking to my friend about this the other day. He's Russian, and I was saying like that a lot of the people that I speak to on Cambly, they say English isn't very hard to learn. And for him, he's like, "No, English is one of the hardest." I'm like, "No, like it's actually like one of like the easier languages." I think what makes English hard is that there's so many words that are the same spelling but have different meanings.
Mhm.
You know, like bear and bear,
Uh,
they sound the same, but there's different meanings.
yeah, it can be used as a verb, and sometimes it can be a noun.
Yeah, exactly. Or like bear as in the animal, and then bear as in like the table's bare, there's nothing on it. Like they sound the exact same, but the words are completely different things.
Mhm.
And English has so many of those. So
Mhm.
I feel like that's a pretty hard thing to learn with English.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is there any other languages you would ever want to learn?
I myself don't want to learn any other languages.
Mhm.
Personally, I think English is the most popular language in Japan,
Mhm.
and some women, some girls like to study Korean, but other languages are not that popular in Japan.
That makes sense. Yeah, I guess for you, like especially for people like what if you know you want to live in Tokyo or Japan, then really the only language you would need to learn is English, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I think that's very cool though. Oh, I think Korean would be very hard to learn too.
Mhm.
I wish I could speak Japanese though. I wanted to learn because I love watching anime, but it's so hard.
Yeah, there are so many characters like
Yeah,
hiragana, kanji,
yep,
katakana. There are
yep.
so many characters.
I
It's very
know. I really wanted to learn because most of the shows that I watch are all in Japanese.
Mhm.
But with the 3 letters or the 3 alphabets, I was like, "There's no way I can learn this."
It's an obstacle to learn Japanese.
Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest languages in the world to learn.
Yeah, I think so too.
Huh. Really, all of the Asian languages I feel like are so different from English, so it's so hard for us to learn.
Yeah, I think so too. Completely.
Um, Yeah, like they're so different. And I'm guessing because a lot of the people that I speak to like from China, Japan, sometimes they struggle with certain like letter sounds. I
Mhm.
feel like our alphabet sounds are probably different than like yours, maybe.
R sound?
Yeah, like maybe like
Yeah,
our
yes, yes.
alphabet, yeah.
In Japan, people can't differentiate R sound from L sound. It's pretty
Wow.
difficult.
Okay.
For example, right and light. These 2 words sound almost the same for Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's so interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't have guessed those letters. That's very interesting. Now anytime I speak to someone from Japan, I'm gonna see that I'm gonna be thinking if they can differentiate those letters.
Huh?
I also find like the kull sound and the kull and the sh sound. A lot of people from at least China, they struggle with those sounds, like the
Mhm.
kull and the sh. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Interesting.
Hmm.
You said that you have been learning Japanese, right?
Yes.
I often hear that Japanese is very difficult for foreign people. Why do they feel that way?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are several reasons why people might feel that way. First of all, Japanese is a much different language grammatically and culturally to English.
Mhm.
So I think the biggest problem people have is you need to change the way you think to speak
Mhm.
Japanese. For example, I often like to use this example. In English, you might say, I like this about him. He's very kind to his friends. I like
Mhm.
that about him.
Mhm.
So that phrase, I like that about him, is said in a certain way in English,
Mhm.
But in Japanese, you can't say it that way. Like, you can't translate word for word. In Japanese, it's a completely different kind of expression. So you have to think differently. Like in Japanese, you would say, 彼のそういうところが好き.
Mhm.
So it's totally different from English. There are no similar words at all. I think that's the most difficult part.
That makes sense. Sometimes I encounter the same situation. Like I often translate English into Japanese, but it's pretty difficult to translate English into Japanese because
Right.
there's no exact word.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
the fact that the languages are so different, I have to change how I think to speak Japanese. Right.
I agree.
And the other reason I'd say is the kanji is very difficult, I think.
Yeah.
Hiragana and katakana are manageable. They're not so hard.
Mhm.
Kanji, there are so many characters, and not only that, but the way to read the kanji is different depending on the word. That is the most difficult part.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Japanese people have a hard time reading kanji, so no wonder
Right.
Japanese people cannot read kanji sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I think that's the answer.
Yeah. I've checked your video and I found out that you've been learning Japanese for the past 5 years, right?
Right, that's right.
Why have you been learning Japanese?
Actually, yeah, I get asked that a lot. There isn't really a good reason. I just decided to learn it as a hobby originally. Like,
Hobby.
yeah, so just wanted to learn another language, and I thought, Japanese is exotic and it's a beautiful language, and I like Japanese culture, so why not?
I heard that Japanese is one of the most difficult languages in the world. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I would say so. For English learners, definitely. Maybe for someone, from Korea or China, it would be easier. But for English learners, I'd say Japanese is the hardest.
Yeah, there are, 3 characters, I think. 3? Katakana,
Yeah,
right?
three writing systems. Hiragana and katakana are not that hard, but
Mhm.
kanji is, insanely difficult.
I don't know how many kanjis there are,
Yeah.
there's so many.
Yeah, probably. I think the official like Joyo kanji, there's like 2,000, a little over 2,000, but unofficially, like in names and stuff, there's like probably over 20,000. Yeah.
Sorry, but I don't understand. Joyo kanji. What is that? Joyo
I
kanji?
think I think that's like the official kanji you learn at school. That's like the government chose that kanji. I don't know, maybe I'm saying it wrong. I don't remember. It's been a while since I learned that. But the Japanese government decided like which kanji should be used in newspapers and
Mhm.
learned at school, and I think that's the Joyo kanji.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah.
I'm Japanese, but I've heard of it, but I don't know what Joyo kanji is.
Right, yeah. I heard it once or twice, but yeah. I heard that even Japanese people sometimes struggle with reading kanji.
Yeah, sometimes.
Right.
Can you hold a conversation in Japanese?
No. 私は日本語が少しはわかります. There's just basics. And how to order beer and food and
Okay.
yeah,
How
like
did you learn
directions.
Japanese?
I've done a small course, a few months course in Plymouth, a city I grew up in. It's in the UK, it's in the southwest. I'll type the city in. Plymouth. So I did a small course there. Then I ended up traveling to Japan in my late 20s. So I finished my bachelor's degree in film. Type it in. And then the degree I can use for visa reasons. So if I want to live and work in Japan for good, stay and live there, I use the degree for visa purposes.
Okay. Do you think Japanese is one of the most difficult languages in the world. I've heard Japanese is very difficult.
A lot of people say that.
you agree?
It can be quite difficult. Yeah. I mean, any language can be difficult. I mean, French and Spanish would be easier for English to learn. I don't know why. I guess the verbs and nouns are the same. But Japanese, they swap them back and forth compared to English. So that's what makes it difficult, don't they? Arabic is difficult.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I don't know
is
why.
Really difficult. It's really difficult. Yeah, Arabic is very difficult. It's the ha when they talk, like hababa. I can't do it. It's really difficult. Sababa.
I see. Interesting.